Hi, I'm Frank McDonough, the Questionable Botanist, back from a little glitch in the networking, and we were talking about burr clover, which is a legume that was infesting a gentleman's lawn, and what he could do about it, because burr clover makes its own nitrogen. A situation where the lawn has not been fed for a few years is going to favor burr clover, so what do? You feed the lawn. I was mentioning you could use ammonium nitrate, ammonium sulfate, anything with nitrogen in it that works on a St. Augustine lawn. You can use fish emulsion, you can use even cow manure, although it's not the best of all things to use. And what this will do is favor the St. Augustine over the burr clover, and eventually you'll have very little, if none at all, as far as burr clover is concerned. It will disappear because it cannot compete with the St. Augustine grass. I had another call about, and this was interesting, about cats. And in particular, cats and daylilies, and whether cats are poisoned by daylilies. I got a call from a gentleman, and he was concerned because he had heard that daylilies were poisonous to cats. Now, I know that daylilies are actually used in cuisine. Daylily flowers, fresh and cooked, are used in cuisine, French cuisine, Chinese cuisine, all kinds of. They're an edible plant. They're edible by human beings. Didn't know about this cat thing, so looked it up on the Cornell site. Now, the Cornell is a university in the East Coast that has a very good veterinary medicine program, and also an excellent horticultural program. And because of that, they have probably the best reference when it comes to veterinary poisoning by plants. In other words, poisoning of animals by plants. So I filtered for the Cornell site, and I found out, well, my God, yes, Hemerocallis has been associated, and lilies in particular, in general, and Hemerocallis in particular, have been associated with kidney failure in cats. Apparently cats are very, very sensitive to whatever it is in the Hemerocallis. Now, they don't know what it is in the Hemerocallis, and they don't know if all Hemerocallis are doing this. They just know that Hemerocallis has shown a correlation between cat kidney failure and Hemerocallis. First time I've heard of that. Not only was it right there, but it turns out that this was mentioned in a recent article, an overview of poisonous plants, in 2010. So this is fairly new stuff, that Hemerocallis are poisonous to plants. Now, the gentleman also mentioned that he had heard that Hemerocallis affected indoor cats more than outdoor cats, and this would make sense because indoor cats would seek green material. They'd be less discerning as far as the green material they sought to improve their digestion. Cats will eat grass and other things to improve their digestion. Outdoor cats can be picky. They can eat what they want, but if you have, say, a daylily inside the house with your cat, no other greens at all, the daylily produces soft tissue because it's inside, which it shouldn't be to begin with. That cat's going to be more likely to eat that daylily and hence suffer some real problems because the daylily is in the house. So 1, no daylilies in the house. 2, cats and daylilies, bad mix. 3, just be careful what you plant out there if you have a cat anyway. Now, again, outdoor cats are probably not going to eat the daylilies, so if you've had a cat for years and daylilies for years, don't write me or call me and say, what are you talking about? I've had daylilies and cats for years. Apparently the big problem comes when the cats are indoors and the daylilies are indoors. This also occurs with other gift lilies. So if you have a cat and you have a lily that's given to you as a gift, don't leave it, and it's an indoor cat, don't leave it around. I wouldn't leave it around even if it was an outdoor cat if it's inside the house. Cats and lilies don't mix. It's time for these to start blooming, and they are, and they're looking great. These are kangaroo paws. And we have a bunch of them blooming out in our Australian section. Now, kangaroo paws have a bad and undeserved, well, it used to be deserved, reputation for getting fungus, which causes, or bacteria actually, which causes a blight on their leaves. The newer varieties that are out there that are sold by the big companies like Monrovia, San Marcos, and all these others don't have as much of that problem because they have been selected to not have it. They're resistant to that spotting. So if you've had kangaroo paws 20 years ago and they did terrible, give them a try again. They might do well. Or one other thing, they do need full sun, and drainage is pretty key for these, although there are some varieties that will take worse drainage than others, or take heavy clay soil. Be sure to ask your nurseryman which varieties those are. There was a great show today, last weekend, I'm sorry. There was a great show here at the Arboretum. It was a bonsai. The Santa Anita Bonsai Society had their bonsais out. And I took a photograph of a few of them to show you. Now on the left, I'm not sure what that is, but on the right, that tree, and it's a gorgeous looking tree, very small tree. That whole thing is about 1.5 feet tall. That is a Chinese elm, a Chinese evergreen elm. Interestingly enough, there are varieties of Chinese elm out there that have been bred for their small leaf size just to be made into bonsais. And you can actually, if you go on the internet and you put the terms bonsai and ulmus and parvifolia, you'll find these varieties for sale by shops that cater to bonsai aficionados. Here is another bonsai, and you can guess what that is. It's a gorgeous bougainvillea bonsai. Notice the really old looking lower stem. This whole thing's about 1.5 to 2 feet tall. Now, can you guess what this is? Look at the beautiful burl there. A burl is an undifferentiated mass of tissue that gives rise to shoots like this. You'll find them at the base of older trees. Sometimes they'll form where there's wounds. Redwoods will have burls. And this plant had burls too. What is it? It is an olive. Look at that. Let's go out in the garden and take a look at a few things. I have some neat pictures I want to show you that I took just in the last few days. And the first one, can you guess what this is? Look at the bee just loving this. This is an artichoke flower. Now it's a little late to harvest this artichoke and steam it. Now how about this? Okay, I was just really lucky and I got some very interesting birds out in this. This is a Ceiba pentandra. This is located on Tallock Knoll. And it's lost all its foliage, and all you see on it right now are blooms. This is a native to Central America and South America. And in Central and South America, where it's native to, the tree is full of life. It's very diverse, extremely diverse tree as far as both the animals and plants and insects that make their homes up in the tree. Now here in Southern California, we don't have the same fauna that make its home up in the trees, or flora for that matter, but several different types of birds have made their home in this tree. I do not know what that yellow dark-throated bird is. I do know that those two birds behind it are crows, and were there drinking the nectar of these flowers. In fact, some of the crows even took the flowers away with them. And I have a very blurry picture of a crow having one of those flying with a flower in its beak. It's amazing. In the South African section, crinums, we have crinums. These are lily-like flowers. They're actually in the amaryllis or the onion family, I do believe. And the crinums are blooming like crazy out there in the South African section. Crinums, hobbyists used to love crinums back in the turn of the century and up until the 20s. They would hybridize these crinums and produce these beautiful, different multicolored flowers. After the Depression, this hybridization hobby kind of went away, but in the last 20 years, it's returned, and people are going to the Midwest and other areas where people were hybridizing these and collecting these legacy plants. Here we go with the Mexican primrose, Onothera bolandarii. Beautiful plant, but remember, a very invasive plant can be a weed. Be careful where you plant it. And finally, beautiful picture here, a couple of beautiful pictures of the Romney culturale, the Matilla haupoppy, one of my favorites. A gorgeous plant, very gorgeous smell. I was out there taking pictures of it with somebody who was looking at it as a possible place to shoot a movie. And I noticed that each of the flowers had not just one bee on them, but at least 3 or 4 different bees on each flower. It was a regular bee party there. Look at this. One more for you. The bees just love this thing. Just love this thing. Well, that's it here at the LA County Arboretum for me, the Questionable Botanist. I will see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Same time, same channel. Tell your friends about the Questionable Botanist, and we'll have more of your questions and more of what's out